Hello, everybody. It is great to be here one more time today. My name is Gary Fowler, and I am the host of GSD Presents Silicon Valley AI and Tech. I'm a serial entrepreneur with 17 startups under my belt. I've been involved in several unicorns. I was on the original management team of Click Software, which was sold to Salesforce for 1.35 billion. I also co-founded a company called Eva.ai, which was recently acquired by Vizier. We love artificial intelligence and quantum computing, and we'd like to make the world a better place. And that's what it's all about. So, again, I'd like to bring my guest on, TJ Jackson. And this guy has an incredible background. He's a serial entrepreneur. He's an executive coach and partner. I mean, he travels the world looking for difficult situations to be able to make a little bit better. So, with that, I'd like to bring TJ on board. Hi, TJ.
Hello, Gary, and good afternoon or good evening from Helsinki. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, so we were talking off air, speaking off air, and so you grew up in Washington D.C. area, and we talked about it. But I mean, did you wake up one day and say, "Listen, I'm not cold enough. I want to go to a place where it's a little bit colder," and Helsinki seems to be it. How did you come up with were you always like that as a kid, TJ, where you wanted to try things that other people weren't able to do?
Exactly. When I was a kid, I looked at Iceland and Finland, and maybe the words land and New Zealand. So I've been to Iceland a few times, flying back and forth to Washington, D.C. But I must say that Finland is quite unique country compared to Sweden because the Finns like to be by themselves. And I play chess. So chess demands a lot of aloneness, and loneliness if you want to get better in chess. So I think that the reason I like to live in Finland is because the Finns are very pragmatic, like Americans, but at the same time, Finns now are finding their identity. It used to be that Sweden was big brother. And if you are following ice hockey, Finland now has won the World Championships ice hockey and the Olympics gold medal. Just on Sunday, they won the World Championships and the gold medal. It was 25,000 or 35,000 persons there at the celebration. And in smaller cities, there were 10 to 15,000 persons. So I think that Finland is now leading the way as far as startups, as far as coming into their own.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of activity there, with Slush and a lot of the different events. So, how long have you been there, TJ? How long have you lived in Finland?
I've been living in Finland since I've had hair, Gary. So let's say 25 years now.
And then when you first came in, what was it like? Like, you first come into this country, how do you get settled in a country that, you just read about? What was it like?
Okay, for as far as for Americans, it's quite easy for us to get settled anywhere because I think Americans are outgoing. But the only bad thing about Americans, everyone over in Finland here speaks English. But the thing about it, a lot of Americans, they become complacent. But me, I like to know everything, so I learned Finnish, and my photograph memory helps me. So therefore, I was able to learn Finnish, let's say within 9 months or something. Basically,
that's amazing, TJ. So you learned it. Did you go to university training classes, or you just because I know my friends?
Yes, I went to the training classes. Excuse me for interrupting you. And then I was training, and I was speaking to business. So the teachers asked me, "Hey, you know about business? Can you come here and teach us?" Not only the students, but the teachers about American business culture. And then they put this on the curriculum. So I've been teaching in the universities, in the local colleges, and in the high schools. And I even substituted in a elementary school. And we went through the second and the third grade. We went through 2 weeks. We went through the whole books. And the teacher says, "Who is this guy?" My students are always, yeah.
That's amazing, TJ. So, how long did it take you to get used to living in Finland? Because I know when I lived in Russia, especially when I was up in St. Petersburg, it was really cold. And I remember being on the Gulf of Finland in the winter and the summer. But how long did it take you to adjust? Because Washington's kind of, in the US side, it's a little bit tempered in terms of climate. It's not that cold, right? How long did it take to get adjusted?
Actually, Washington, D.C., if you remember, during Ronald Reagan's inauguration, it was still the record. It was with the wind chill factor of minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit. And therefore, in Finland, you have 4 seasons. But this year, we only have 2 seasons, spring and rain. but normally, I would say, normally, it doesn't take a long time. It's a mental state, as I can say. If you are thinking it's cold outside, then it's really cold. But if you are having normal clothes, it's not cold at all. I'm almost like a Finn. I don't use gloves until it's like minus 15 degrees Celsius nowadays. So
Wow.
So therefore, it doesn't take a long time.
Now, do you go on the weekends? I know, we used to go out to the cabins, the dachas, the country houses. Do you do that? Because I know Finns love to go to their lake houses in the summer, right?
Yeah, yes, and I consider myself. I have many friends who are owning cottages, and I consider myself one of the best fishermen in Finland. If I don't catch a fish, they are having nice seafood markets, so I will send photos to the friends and say, "Look what I caught from the local market."
There you go. Yeah, you didn't know there were sharks in the lakes.
No, but you can catch some big ones.
I bet you can. What do they have, pike, or what's the big fish?
Yes, they are having pike, but salmon in the Baltic Sea, and also in the north in Oulu, a town where I lived really long, and I have many friends there. And Oulu actually was the home of Nokia, if you remember, for the R&D. So therefore, around Oulu, they have an island called Hailuoto, and it's the biggest island in the northern Scandinavia or northern Europe, as you can say. So therefore, because Ahvenanmaa is actually autonomy, so it's a state. So I consider Hailuoto actually an island. So that's why I always say that. So around there, they are catching Baltic herring, for example, Baltic salmon, and this is much fresher and cleaner. This is green because it's naturally grown. And if you go to the way north, then you would have the river between Finland and Norway, which is called Taino River. And therefore, you can see the salmon there. And persons are catching.
That's amazing. Now,
yes.
What's the biggest fish you've ever caught? How big? Like, what's a big salmon?
I think I would say in 2002, 2003, I think we caught like about a 19-kilo salmon from near between Oulu in the sea. Yeah.
So that's over 40-pound salmon.
Yeah, but that's a medium size. I know some guys who caught, let's say, 60 to 100 pounds. They get really big here.
Gosh, that's amazing, actually. And do they taste good, TJ?
Oh, they taste really good. But actually, the biggest ones, you have to break them down and fillet them to smaller sizes. So I would say a 6-pounder would be the best for smoking and grilling it. But you can feed.
I'm going out and get some salmon when I'm done today.
Yeah, you are welcome. It's much better than Canadian salmon, by the way.
Wow, that's amazing. So what do you do like on the weekends? So, what do people do in Finland like on the weekends? Do you go to house parties? Do you go to clubs or do you just sit home? What do people do? Play chess?
Normally, I would say the Finns, they normally go to the cottage and during the weekends, and they go out because here you have land of lakes, but here you have the forest. So as far as activity, Finns are very active. So for example, I would say like 8 miles per day, and the average Finn walks 5 to 6 miles per day. On the weekend, they take longer, and they are really active marathon runners, for example. So I think that, of course, the young people, they are hitting the discos or the clubs, but even nowadays, the young people in Finland, they are quite sophisticated. You will see them in the parks having picnics and these kind of things.
Wintertime too?
In the wintertime, they are skating because that's why you have so good ice hockey. So everyone can skate, so they have the outdoor arenas and everything. And the Finns are quite nature oriented. So this is why green technology and sustainable energy is nothing new. As far as Central Europe, they are catching on to Finland, to Estonia, to the Baltics, other Baltics, Latvia, Lithuania, Norway, Iceland, for example, Sweden. They are having, for example, they are sorting the trash and everything. So this is a good thing, you know, as I can say. They are really environmental friendly, you know. So being based in Silicon Valley, you would understand that, you know. In Washington, D.C., if you remember, we have the cleanest metro in the world. So they are really also environmental friendly compared to unenvironmental friendly cities like New York, for example.
Mm-hmm. No, that's amazing. Wow, that's amazing. You're an amazing guy. So tell me a little bit about it. You've done Landry Consulting. You're a technical writer. You're a coach. I mean, it's like Nordic Business Summit, blockchain summits. I mean, you got such a wide. Actually, I think your CV when I put it out was like 15 pages. It was like, or 14 pages. It was unbelievable. Actually.
and I must say, it's incredible because we had a week ago with one of my clients, a Tree Buddy Earth, and they Tree Buddy Earth, they are building a platform to make you climate friendly. And we had a side event, and we invited your co-founder Derek in Estonia. And after our event, I got 650 new connections on LinkedIn, and because of our event. In 1 week's time, I received 650 connections and persons. The proof is in the pudding, Gary. And like I always say to persons, the best advertising is to do good work. And business is a marathon game. Don't look for the quick wins, you know. Look for the long distance, because therefore the word of the mouth, you will always have business. You know, you will always be sustainable if you treat the client as an individual. You don't treat the client as cattle or herd. You treat each client, each man or woman, as an individual, as a person. You say, hello, Gary. You say, hello, Mary. And you treat persons, and this grows. And so they say, okay, we need help. We are having a startup. How can someone, and someone says, hey, okay, TJ, he knows everyone. What type of investor do you need? So therefore, instead of chasing leads, they contact me, and I'll review their deck, and then I'll tell them yes or no if I can help them. And I think honesty is the best policy. And I can say, you guys are way too green. I can help you. Come back after 6 months, come back after a year, and then let's talk.
No, that's great, TJ. So, okay, now tell me a little bit that you're into jazz too.
Yes. I'm a music lover, you know. So I'm a music lover. So in Pori Jazz, which is one of the most famous festivals in the world, by the way, I was working there because the godfather of the Pori Jazz, Jyrki Kangas, he was a language consultant also. So he loved languages, and he contacted me and asked, can I come to help them backstage with the top performers such as Shaka Khan, such as other Earth, Wind, and Fire? And I said it would be my pleasure. And then it just kind of grew year after year. And then Rama Blues, they have a blues festival. And they said, we heard you have done good work in Pori. Can you come host our backstage? And then they tricked me. I said, okay, backstage. They said, by the way, you are the host for the whole festival.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible. So you did that, and then you got into and then you were at Slush as a translator, right?
Yes.
So you worked as a translator. I mean, it's just. And then, how many languages do you speak, by the way? How many languages do you speak?
I would say basically, I understand. I would say 5 or 6. As far as speaking, I would say speaking language fluently, 3, 4. But I would say 5, 6, or 7 that I can understand. If you give me a book, I could translate it because I have a photograph memory. So therefore, if you hear something, I close my eyes and then I picture the words and everything. So, for example, Swedish is near English and it's near Danish. And then the Latin languages, you understand Italian and Spanish. So therefore, and maybe it helps because Finnish doesn't have a language near. Many persons say Estonia or Hungary, but they are really
And I
far
know that
distance
I just
cousins.
yesterday I was with somebody. They were saying Hungarian language is in the same group as the Finnish language, and I thought they were in different groups. I thought one was
Yes, they are. They are in the Euro-Hungarian language group, but they are, let's say, I would say like 15 cousins, for example. They are not near like the Latin languages are.
Wow, that's amazing. So you went there, you learned it. It took you 9 months to learn, to learn Finnish. You settled there. Was it hard settling there? Was it hard to
No,
get
no,
visas
no, no. Good question, but no, because I don't like to fly. I have severe aerophobia. So normally, if I travel back home, when I travel back home, let's say every 4 or 5 years, I'm normally there for a month because I don't like to fly. And this is why my network is so amazing, because I travel outside of Finland so seldom. So persons come to meet me when we are having slush, and also we have a few other events. One is Arctic 15, arctic15.com. That's coming up within 2 weeks. And this is so-called the slush would be the startup, but Arctic 15 is the opposite. It's where many investors come. So the it's a buyer's market. It's a buyer's market. So that would be the difference. For example, yeah,
how do people look for that? Where is it, TJ? Can anybody come? I have a wide
yeah.
audience.
Okay, Arctic15.com is a page. It's in Helsinki. I would say it's much more aggressive risk capital investors come there, and therefore, because I would say you would have startups as far as Japan, because Slush is like the grandfather of all the startup events in Europe, for example. And then Latitude 59 would be between Arctic 15 and Slush. And then you have startup days also in the university city in Tartu. And then you have an AI, Gary, because this is one thing, you are big on AI. And then you have an awesome AI event in August in Turku city. And this would be called the Shift.fi. And therefore they are having the AI experts all around. So this is one interesting thing to look at.
Yeah, no. If they need speakers, just let me know. I'd be happy to come over and you do it. In fact, we're going to be next week, everybody. We're going to be at the South Summit in Madrid. There'll be 20,000 people there. I'll be speaking at the South Summit in Madrid. So there's, the world, there's a lot of data out there, TJ. There are a lot of companies. I mean, look at in your own world. You mean, you've got 300,000 items in your personal cloud. The entire web in 1996 was 257,000 websites. The problem is, TJ, that number is doubling every year. In 5 years, you're going to have 10 million items. And how do we take care of this infobesity? Well, we need tools like intelligent assistants, smart assistants to really help us with our lives. And corporations are the same way. They're getting inundated. There'll be two classes of people that know the data and people that don't. So it's going to be interesting how it stratifies. So I love what you're doing. Love what's going on in Finland. So what about the companies in Finland? 25 years ago, you came over there. When did you start to see the startup scene really start to take off?
I think after Nokia, for example, let's say after the fall of Nokia, because for example, in R&D guys, many of them had Nokia shares, and many of them became self-made millionaires. So they took their knowledge, what they learned as coders and developers, and then they started their own platforms. And then they were able to get from Oulu and Helsinki seed funding, and then they use their own risk capital, because this is one thing that's missing, Gary, in Finland. In Estonia, the risk capital list, they take very much risk. But in Finland, after the Nokia, so it's coming back now in the last 3 to 5 years. And what do I mean by risk? I mean a lifeline. When you are having 0 to 200K in revenue, this is when you need the investor the most, because you are unproven. And this is what Estonia, Lithuania, and Latvia are doing, for example. And Georgia Azerbaijan and Kazakhstan and Saudi Arabia, by the way, which is the sleeper of the startups, because Israel has been doing this the last 5 years. They said, okay, so what investor says, now I will only invest 0 to 200K in 40 companies, because these companies need a lifeline, because after 2 months, they're dead. And this is a thing that's missing in Finland. So this is one thing I can say. In the last 2 years, Finland is coming back, because Sweden risk capitalists are coming over with the boat. And therefore, they say, okay, TJ, do you know any companies? Then who can we invest? And they ask me, and then I tell them, this is a good company where more than likely you will have, this is a winner, for example.
No, that's great. And, so it sounds like you got the eye on it. How much time do you spend with Swedish companies or, companies from the region, Norway? Do you spend much time there? I know you don't like to fly, but do you travel there? Do you meet with those folks regularly, or how do you do it?
I mean, excellent. Good point, Gary. I meet with them over the net. We are sharing the net and sharing information. And I'm a hockey fan, and all of my teams are out besides Colorado Avalanche. Washington Capitals went out early, so I'm up. So therefore, I'm able to chat with Derek, for example, chat with you, chat with other persons. So therefore, what I do, the Swedish companies, what they will do, they as I said, I'm hot now because I have built up credibility. So therefore, someone will say in my network, I will get a message, and they will say, hey, we need your help. And we are having a partner in India, and they need your help also, for example. And I told them, and they said, how come you're so hot? I said, it took 25 years. As I said earlier, business is a marathon, so you can't get hot overnight. You have to build your credibility and to build a loyal base. And therefore, this is what I've noticed about Norway. Norway has seen Finland with the blueprint. So Norway are becoming hot as far as startups. But the thing about the Norwegians, they do the same thing as the Estonians do. In Finland, what is needed is much more public funding. In Finland, the public funding is missing. In Estonia, they give the public funding quite soon. So this is one thing. So now you can see a revitalization from Finland, but still the public funding and the risk capital is much lower compared to Sweden and the Baltics and Norway as well.
No, I hear you. I mean, Estonia is a miracle. It's amazing what they've done, right, in a very short period of time. But then you get companies for the Skype that came from Sweden down, and then they got a lot of visibility. And they're really supporting the ecosystem, right? I mean, the laws, the visas, everything is really in support of it. So you open it up and you try to move it forward. Guess what? Stuff happens. It's amazing. So tell me a little bit about the activities. I know you say you must spend money to make money. That's true. Helping startups find the right investor. Absolutely. What's the biggest mistake that startups make, TJ, from your perspective?
To shoot themselves in the foot. A good example. Okay, Derek was over here at Latitude. Straight away, we were having a cup of coffee. 2 startups came there. Oh, you're an investor, and they ran straight to him. They didn't say, I would like to meet you. Can I ask you what type of companies you are investing in? Are you investing in MaaS? Are you invested in SaaS, IoT? And for example, an investor can only be invested in real estate, property manager, but he's still an investor.
So they didn't qualify they didn't do their homework. They didn't qualify.
And many times they don't do their homework. And this opens up a business opportunity for me. Of course, I'm happy about this. I'm ecstatic, as I can say. That's why I say, help him find the right investor. I mean, why waste time? All of us have 24 hours in a day. And think about it, Gary. If you are on the phone 12 hours and you're striking out, it's time to change your strategy. It's time to readjust. And that's why and also another thing startups do, guess what? In the USA, I'll give you an example. A startup in the USA, IoT company, they know they need 2 million. So they're going to come to you, Gary, and they're going to say, we need 3.5 million. In Finland and in the Baltics, they are squeezing, oh, I need 600K, but they know they need 1.2 million. And this is what I try to tell them. you have to ask for 2 million because the investor loves the honesty, and
Yeah,
therefore he will be a
well,
loyal investor.
you lose your credibility if you come in because you're going to run out of money. It's not going to make any sense for global expansion, and they're going to just write you off and say you don't know what your business is because they do it so often. They know what the costs are starting a company off the top of their head. It's incredible. So that is a problem. Conservative nature. By the way, it's not just there. I see it in Germany, Finland, Austria, and at the same
Mm-hmm.
time, the investors don't want to. They don't have. They're very conservative investors too. They take a lot
Mm-hmm.
longer and they don't write very big checks. They're probably a third of
Yes.
the valuations are the valuations that we'd have in Silicon Valley, for instance. And that's a big problem, and the other part of it, I don't know about you, TJ, but the other part of it is a lot of these folks are technical founders. They don't understand sales and marketing and business development, and they don't have the contacts or network to pull it off. You got to be connected to be able to pull this off. It's not easy, right?
Exactly. And for example, we are having here in Helsinki and in Finland, we have one very interesting VC. Actually, we have the only educational VC spark mind in the whole Northern Europe, for example. And their platform is to invest only in educational technology companies. And I was amazed when I heard the nearest one was Ireland or Germany, for example, because in Finland, if I understood correctly, Gary, Finland has 96% literacy, and it's like number one or number two in the world. So therefore, you have a lot of educational technology companies now, and but the thing is, they are missing the marketing skills. They are missing
Yeah.
the sales skills, how to get their platform out of there.
Yeah. No, that's it. And some of them are so stubborn they don't ever do it. That's why they fail because they're so stubborn. I've had technical. I don't know about you, TJ, but I have technical
Okay.
folks come to me and say, "I have the best product in the world. I don't have to sell it because people are going to want to buy it." And it's like, wait a second, do you not get it? Like, first of all, you're in a new market, and
Mm-hmm.
somebody's got to enchant the customers and investors, and they're not going to just come to you, and it's really bad. They set a bad precedent, and guess what? They end up going out of business.
Exactly, and that's one thing. What I was saying when we were in latitude 59 and we were in slush, and I was talking to persons during the coffee breaks. And I'm a green tea drinker, by the way, a double espresso, a green tea. I try to avoid normal coffee. So anyway, and I said to them, "You guys have an awesome platform. This is a killer app, but guess what? There are billions of killer apps. No
Yeah.
one knows about it. When are you going to hire a marketing person?
Yeah.
When are you going to hire a sales guy?" And I said that you have 3 guys with technical background and no one knows anything about marketing. Absolutely, Gary.
Yeah, and the thing is, sometimes they don't care, right? They don't understand.
Yeah.
I say it's like having a Ferrari in the garage. You got to get out of the garage, drive it around, but most importantly, you got to win the Formula One. Because when it's all said and done, it's about what your accomplishments are, how well you can execute. And most people don't understand that. It's a good
Mhm.
point. TJ, we're coming up to the top of the show. So it's time
Okay.
is going very quickly. And I just wanted to, you know, uh, closing thoughts and how do people get a hold of you? Let's talk about what kind of things you can do for the companies and who you're looking for, and also closing thoughts.
Okay. Thanks, Gary. Okay. Basically, I'm looking for active startups. I'm looking for active, committed. And the reason, if you are thinking the company succeeds because Bill Gates was committed, this is why Microsoft is still standing. Lee Iacocca was committed. This is why Chrysler is still standing. And therefore, if you are having commitment, for example, and this hat I'm wearing, by the way, this is one of my clients, Tree Buddy, and they have an awesome group. They have a small team, but they have commitment. So I really like to work with them as a senior advisor. And so first of all, I'm looking for commitment. If they are committed and they believe in their business, then I want them to connect with me. If I can help them, I can introduce someone such as you or Derek who can help them. And as far as investors, I'm looking for the ones who are looking to invest risk capital in Finland and risk capital in the Baltics.
No, that's great. I spent a lot of time. I lived in Latvia. I lived in Jurmala for the summer. Got a chance to meet the president and prime minister. Spent time in Lithuania. Have never been to Estonia, by the way, but I've spent time in those countries. and there's incredible untapped potential. It's amazing for small countries how good they are.
And I think when one door opens, another door closes, and therefore that's why Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia, they are churning out unicorns, especially unicorn, because they've seen the blueprint from Sweden and from Finland, and now Norway is picking up very much steam. No pun intended, because of hydrogen technology, because alternative energies is hot now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is, we're going to be in a place and time where you're going to be in Finland or New York or Pennsylvania or wherever, and we're not going to have fuel. We're not going to have fossil fuels. We got to think about alternative energy sources, and we've got a population right now of 8.1 billion, growing, could be as high as 13 billion by the end of the century. So a lot of stuff going on for sure. It's incredible. So how do people get a hold of you? What's the best way to get a hold of you, TJ?
LinkedIn. They can connect with me on LinkedIn. Thomas TJ Jackson on LinkedIn. That's the best way to get a hold of me. And at the same time, when they connect, it would be really cool if they sent a message. Why are they connecting? I mean, because of your show. And this is one reason I wanted to come here. And I really thank you, Gary, for inviting me.
Yeah, no problem, TJ. We'll have to get you on again. We'll have to have a part 2. I really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule. It's great to have you here today, and you're passionate about everything you do. You're an incredible guy. It's in 25 years to do what you've done, it's amazing. And the key is to keep getting stuff done, right? Keep moving forward.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure, Gary. That's my secret. As I say, I remember when I was a little kid, I watched a TV show, and it's on YouTube, about the little train. I think I can, I know I can. So if you have self-belief, then that's all the confidence that matters. Believe in yourself. All the startups, they should believe. Are we on the right track? And this is the way I always tell them.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, TJ. So thanks a lot to my audience out there. Thanks again for joining GSD Presents Silicon Valley AI and Tech. And I'm the host, Gary Fowler. Stay tuned for another exciting edition coming this Thursday. Stay happy, stay healthy, and stay safe. God bless. Talk to you soon. Thanks, TJ. Thanks, everybody. See you soon, and keep smiling.
Thank you.